Now let me hear you say hip hop, hip hop. Now scream!
I'd like to welcome you all this evening. Walk with me.
Running on high energy since 2012, y'all remember me? 8 years in the game now, 6 of those should have did a scene. Combine the two like Lin-Manuel, hard as hell just to get a seat. Trying to get the tickets on sale.
And we are here today with another Inside the Rawrrzone on location with the one and only Scorpio P.
What's going on, y'all?
P, what's going on, man? Let everybody know what we're here for today.
Alright, so I'm dropping a new EP titled Street Food 2 Visual Merchandising. It's a follow-up to my previous acclaimed EP Street Food, which I dropped in 2017. So this is the sequel, basically.
So now we talked about it a little bit earlier, but for everybody who doesn't know, explain to them what visual merchandising is.
All right, so I chose the term visual merchandising for two reasons. For those who know me personally, I worked for the company Nordstrom for about 10 years. Due to the pandemic, I lost my job this year, as many others did. And I had actually planned on leaving the company this year anyway. But I got a lot of inspiration during my time there, and I called it visual merchandising because one department that always intrigued me, even though I did customer service at Nordstrom, one thing that always intrigued me was the visual merchandising team, how they would put stuff together for people to see, to purchase things in the stores. And I also named it visual merchandising in the sense that instead of it just being stories as written, I wanted to showcase what I see when I hear this music. So it's storytelling from a very visual aspect, not even so much as what you hear, but what you see visually when you hear the music.
What message do you want to get to the audience when they hear this album?
The message I want to give more than anything, it's a lot of the same themes that the original Street Food addressed. So this echoes a lot of them, like self-improvement, self-development, dealing with being a product of your environment, relationships, artistic liberation, a lot of the usual things that Street Food addressed, just on a heightened, more sensory level.
Okay. Where did the inspiration come to even create this album through this pandemic?
That's probably the biggest thing, because I had a conversation with my manager, Busy B. Shout outs to Busy B Productions. I told him that I didn't plan on releasing any new music this year at all, being that I had released Street Food in 2017 and I had just dropped an album last year. I just dropped my album Director's Notes, dedicated to my late theater professor. So I had enough material to mostly do visuals this year, which was the plan. But of course, COVID hit, and I had to kind of recalibrate my thinking process of what I want to do this year creatively. That's when the inspiration really came after May, when I had a panic attack. I thought I was having a heart attack. And it put a lot of things in perspective for me throughout this pandemic, telling me that, like, those of us who are still here, we got something more than we need to give to this world. So I take the inspiration I got to create Street Food 2 and push it out in the manner I'm pushing it out in, as a way to continue my work contributing to this world while I'm still here.
So you have Street Food 1,
Mm-hmm.
you have Director's Notes.
Mm-hmm.
What is going to be different about this project here, sonically, that we didn't hear from the other two?
The original Street Food was a lot more like bare bones hip hop. It was a lot grittier, more street like orientated. And Director's Notes was a lot more grandeur and a lot more like showcasing, like that was music I call theatrical hip hop that deserves to be, like performed, be on the stage, high energy all the time. So What I wanted Street Food 2 to do was kind of split the difference in between them and take the themes of the original Street Food, but add that same grandeur and that same grand vibe that Director's Notes did, kind of like a hybrid together for Street Food 2.
So I see that you have 10 tracks, side A and side B. What made you go side A and side B on this, as opposed to putting it all together in one project?
Another big inspiration for Street Food I drew from is one of my biggest influences in terms of music is jazz music. I grew up playing the saxophone. So a lot of what I do is very jazz orientated and very like old fashioned orientated and things like that. So what I wanted to do with this project was take that inspiration from classic jazz albums that have a side A and a side B. Now you flip a vinyl over.
Right.
So I wanted to do something in that same mode where not only do I have two sides, same number of songs each side, two different feels each side, even though it's one collective project. I also did something harkening back to old jazz tunes that had a side A and a side B, that had an original take and an alternate take. What an alternate take basically is a cut of a recording that didn't make the actual album, but they put it on like a special reissue or things like that, so people can hear, oh, that's another thing you were thinking of with this record. So I was able to do that as well with another song in this project, which you hear it has two versions, one on side A, one on side B, an original and an alternate take.
Of all the tracks that's on this album, what is the most personal? Which is the one that we should all look out for? Like, this is the track.
There's a couple, because like I said, a lot of inspiration came to me. A big part of inspiration that came out of this album came from, I don't know if you're familiar with the Netflix original series of The Umbrella Academy.
Yeah.
So 5 tracks on this EP, like divided between the two sides, have direct references to that show. And the show kind of helped me with this perspective, showing me like the dysfunction and things like that between individuals who are very, very special in this world. I consider myself kind of like in that same ilk, like sometimes marginalized, whatever the case is, for the way that I think, the way I like move, the way I like perceive myself and perceive others. So taking that inspiration from that show, I think those 5 tracks would probably be the most personal. But I think the most personal of all, there's a couple. It would probably be Off Night, which is on side A, and Issues, which is on side B. Off Night is kind of like a cautionary tale of a budding relationship going down the wrong path too quickly. And Issues is directly related to what I struggled with growing up, which was ADHD. I was diagnosed with attention deficit hyperactivity disorder. Still can't say it right. I was diagnosed with that when I was 11, and it's been a big part of me growing up. I mean, finding music has allowed me to control it and like curtail it to what I need to, and then theater took it even further, where now I can be my full creative self as my brain works as fast as it does. So that's what Issues is about. It's about the struggle, kind of like what I went through growing up with that. I mean, I mentioned it briefly on Director's Notes in the song Class Clown, but I get more personal with it on Issues on side B of this project.
Well, we heard it here first with the boy Scorpio P. Can't wait to hear the whole project. After we finish here, we'll probably get some more afterthoughts after we hear the project and go through song by song.
Absolutely.
Get some information on each song.
Absolutely.
Right?
Thank you.
I'd like to welcome y'all this evening. Walk with me.
Running on high energy since